What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of the War Room Podcast. I'm your host, Andy, and alongside me, we got my buddy, my pal, good old Wreck-It Ralph himself, Disney and Pixar's own, Rob. What do we got going on, Rob? How are you?
Want to see those residual checks, man.
It's not my job.
Damn.
But my pay grade.
Doing good, making some moves here and, just looking forward to it. We're almost there, man. March 17th. Can't wait.
It's annoying. Like, just allow people to tamper. Like, everyone's tampering anyway. Just freaking do it.
Well, that's the whole point of the legal tampering period.
I want that now. I'm bored.
Everyone follows the rules. What are you saying?
Yeah.
What are you insinuating?
I know. I'm insinuating I'm just angry. I'm just bitter. I'm just bored.
That's fair. I'm sorry that I accused you of offering J.J. Watt $16 million.
Yeah.
I apologize.
When J.J. Watt said he wanted to go to a playoff team, I get it. Arizona didn't make the playoffs. Perfect. Logic is there. It makes sense.
100%.
And, let's look at Cliff Kingsbury's resume. You've had Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, and you didn't do anything in college. So good coaching staff. Great job. Go there.
I have a off-the-wall thought that came into my head.
I love it.
Okay. And just because the NFL has been so crazy lately, and remember back in the day, the one off season that the only trade that happened was Champ Bailey and Clinton Portis. You remember that?
That was a good one.
Yeah, it's trades happen so often now, and it's such a different league. What if the Cardinals are going to be players for Deshaun? What if? I get it. I understand Kyler Murray. I get the connection with Kyler Murray. I get that.
I'll play along with it.
But what if?
I'll play along with it. What if they do that and then win the Super Bowl?
We will delete the intro to this show immediately is what we will do.
Oh, my gosh. Just imagine being a Texans fan seeing that and being like, wait a second. No, that's our team. What's happening?
Well, think about it, though. That's an interesting theory, right?
It's a great theory. Never would happen. I'm interested to see what the Texans are going to do in general. It's going to be a complete nightmare if he sits out. But it looks that way. It doesn't look like they're trading him.
It doesn't.
Yeah, so I don't know. Watt got way too much money in my eyes, though. So I'm happy the Buffalo Bills didn't break the bank. What is it? 15?
They're absolutely going to trade him, though. It's going to happen.
Oh, we'll see. We will see. But in other good old news, today we're filming this on a Thursday. So we're filming this on a Thursday. They just broke the Ben news, big old Ben Roethlisberger news. I don't know if I should say congrats, Steelers fans. You won a lot of games. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't either. In theory, I don't know. I got nothing for it. He looked absolutely washed up last year. He looked terrible, in my opinion. I'll be honest. I thought he was a bottom 10 quarterback in the league last year. I think he looked absolutely terrible. They're in a tough spot. They have some good free agents out there. I'm sure they really would have wanted to be in on the Watt action. Villanueva being a free agent, Bud Dupree's a free agent. They got some players coming up they have to sign too. It's a tough spot. I get it. Whatever.
Does this open the door for Drew Brees to say, hold my beer? I've been hearing those rumors, and I know people are starting to see those rumors. Let's ask this. If you're a Saints fan, I know it's a tough question to ask, but do you want him to come back?
Man, if I'm a Saints fan, I'm looking at 2022. Break it. Honestly, you tried to make a run. You really did. Let's just think about 2022 if I'm a Saints fan.
You got to cut everything. You got to cut everybody and get your cap.
No, you have to restructure everything. Remember, we did that little fun little game where we literally cut the entire team and still had.
They got to figure something out because they're
got to restructure everybody, man.
That's a mess.
It is. It really is.
It's an absolute mess. But no, that's pretty much it. Nothing really crazy going on. I mean, of course, you got Russell being, he could be a Raider.
Good. We could talk about that again. We haven't discussed that yet, have we?
No, there's not. Raiders are doing some moves right now. They're making some cuts. They're doing some things. I mean, I can't talk about Buffalo because literally we're sitting here on our hands. I don't know why, but
so at first I was pissed about the Gabe Jackson thing, and then I started thinking about it and doing some digging. Apparently, they're really in on John Simpson, your boy.
good.
So, in theory, with Incognito's number being smaller, I get that he's older, but when he's on the field, at least he doesn't look it. Man, if they get rid of Trent Brown, I'm all in for re-signing Denzel Good, moving Incognito to right guard, keeping Simpson at left guard, Huddy obviously at center, and Miller at left. I'm fine with that line, and that's a lot less money.
Yeah,
that's a lot less money. So I like Gabe, but man, 9.6 I think it was. I don't like him.
9.5.
9.5, yeah, I don't like him that much.
Yeah, makes sense. And then you guys are rumored to be getting Joyner out of there.
I can't wait till he goes somewhere and plays deep safety and makes the Pro Bowl. I'm so excited about that. I really am. But that's fine. Yeah, Trent Brown, obviously, like I said, is probably something's gonna happen there. I don't think he's gonna be making $14 million this year. So I don't know if they restructure him down to like 10 mil guaranteed, something like that, or if they just trade him or cut him completely. I think I saw something where he's a top 12 paid tackle. With that contract, he's absolutely a top 12 tackle. I would argue he's a top 5 tackle. Again, has to stay on the field. Best ability is availability, and he hasn't been showing that. So,
did you see his box jump?
I did.
Dude, that's a big boy getting up there. I mean, I have trouble tying my shoes, and he's jumping on top of boxes. So
yeah, dude. Yeah, I know the feeling.
But no,
but you know what? I'm really excited for what we're doing this week.
And why is that?
So, as you may have heard, we're taking a break from the draft talk this week, and I thought it would be fun if we talk about not necessarily low tier free agents, but the free agents people aren't talking about. I don't want to talk about when Von Miller gets cut. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to talk about J.J. Watt, even though he signed. Like, let's talk about some of the lower level guys, or mid tier to lower level guys that people aren't really talking about. And the reason I'm excited about this is because I actually created an Excel sheet, basically, obviously Raider specific, so I can go in and put in all of my cuts, all of my restructures, get us where I want to be salary cap wise, sign the free agents that I want, and it tells me exactly where we stand cap wise, and then allocate how much I want to allocate for the draft. Very excited. So instead of using notes, I'm just going to go off of my off-season spreadsheet.
I like it. But again, you're not going to be talking about free agents that you're just trying to sign to the Raiders. You're going to talk about under the radar guys that are good signings for teams. I think the big and the cool factor about this year is that a lot of players, veteran players, are going to sign places as basically just like a roster spot. Like you're not signing long-term deals because how the cap is situated this year. It's a lot of players may just sign like a 1-year loaner type deal, which is cool because you're going to get some of these big name guys or guys towards, who knows, beginning part of their career or end of their career that are going to do 1-year show me deals. And those are some of the guys that basically we're going over, those 1-year type guys that are show me type deals.
Also, something else to keep in mind too, and first off, you're kind of right and wrong. Obviously, I'm going to be discussing these players from the viewpoint of every team in the NFL, not just the Raiders, but let it be heard, I do want the Raiders to sign every single one of these players. Just throwing that out there. Something else to keep in mind, though, with contracts, and you bring up a good point with it, but something that the Watt deal really showed us is something I think you're going to see a lot of. So, okay, you look at a team that's maybe, somebody that doesn't have a ton of money to spend. Your first reaction is going to be, okay, they're not going to be players in free agency. Okay. In reality, what you can do is back end the contracts because the salary cap is going to skyrocket after this year. You're looking at potential $35-40 million more next year that you're going to have to spend. So in theory, okay, you're talking, JJ Watt got, what was it? 23 guaranteed or whatever the hell that number was. 23. I think I saw something like 16 of that is next year and 7 of it is this year. something like that. So you're going to see a lot of that, which is fine. You know, if you're willing to do that, you could find yourself in, you don't want to keep kicking the can down the road, and you're going to find yourself where the Saints and Eagles are right now. But that's something you're going to see too. You could see these big name guys signing for 10 mil this year and 25 mil next year.
Yeah.
As part of a 2 or 3 year deal. So that's something fun.
But yeah, I mean, let's dive into it. I know you got your list first, and I mean, you definitely got to save your our combined favorite guy, the guy that we were texting about towards the end.
I would honestly say we should do him first because it's not. It's a big name.
It's a hot take.
How is that a hot take?
Because it's just I just want it to keep going forever. I don't ever want it to die.
I'm doing it now. It's Frank Gore. Okay, Frank Gore made $750,000. That was his cap hit last year. $750K. You are not going to find a better number 2 running back than Frank Gore right now. At a mil. I put it down in my spreadsheet that I have that I'm really excited about. Like I've talked about 3 times now. I got him for $1 million.
I would sign him on any team at any time at any point. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, the biggest teams that I would look to sign him to is a team with a young running back, for the fact that he can come in there. He loves teaching the guys. He's done it everywhere that he's been after the fact of when he realized he was on the back end of his career. Yep. But just look at his stats. He's still producing, and he doesn't go backwards. That's the biggest thing that running backs don't understand anymore. It's like, hey, if the line is exploding, instead of trying to do like 17 side steps and go for negative 12 yards in reverse field,
fall forward.
That's it. So, I mean, what does he have? He has two more years or 1 more year he needs to play, and then his son can be draft eligible.
2.
That's all I want. Just somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
And then have a roster battle. There's only one running back spot, and then you have to figure out who gets that spot between him and
if I'm him, I'm not signing anywhere until my kid gets drafted, and then I'm signing with that team for league minimum.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get a better leader in the locker room. Well-respected dude, can do everything. And honestly, at this point, man, the guy can read defenses so well too. You know, he can show your young running back a lot of things. So that's definitely somebody I love.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. 100%. Should I go with mine then? One of the guys I was talking about?
I have like 46. So go ahead.
Ryan Kerrigan, Washington football team, former the Reds. So he was with the Redskins when he started. Then he went to the Washington football team. So, I mean, he had to make that transition, which was tough. But, I mean, solid player overall. A little bit older. So, I mean, he's 32 going on 33, I believe. His numbers have gone down. I mean, he used to be a sack machine. There was, I mean, between 2016 and 2018, those seasons, so those 3 seasons, 11 sacks, 13 and 13. So, great guy, great in the run game. But the bigger thing is now, towards the end of his career, you can get him at a better deal. You can get him at a cap-friendly deal. He's not going to blow up anybody's numbers. He's not going to do anything crazy, but he's a solid edge setter, and he can actually get to the quarterback a little bit, which he did last year. He had 5.5 sacks, so it wasn't like he was completely gone and off the radar. But I think he's like a good $5.5 million deal that you could get him to come in there and help your team out. Again, I wouldn't deter getting him and then thinking your blitz packages are set and your edges set. Like, you're still going to need a younger guy, but great value, especially at this point.
He's a guy that might surprise some people stat-wise too. And, you know, it's easy to say, and I know he's had his, you know, little injuries and stuff like that too, but this guy did not just, you know, get old and just didn't produce as much. That's not the story here at all. That's not the narrative. The narrative is they spent back-to-back first-round picks on 2 athletic freak edge rushers.
Yep.
And, you know, he was the mentor for them. I would love to look, and I didn't look, I should have, and that's my bad. But, like, man, I would love to see how many actual snaps he's had before or since acquiring those guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't want to say he was phased out, because they respect the hell out of him, obviously, but, like, man, he could go somewhere and surprise a lot of people because he still has the tools. Yeah. He just didn't have the time in. And I understand that. I get it. He's a hand in the dirt guy in your typical 4-3, you know, your cover 3 guys that are out there now. He's the stand-up Leo. I mean, he can do a lot of things. I think he's going to help out somebody, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put him in the stand-up Leo position anymore like he used to be, but yeah, I mean, you killed it with they drafted DNs. They drafted 2 phenomenal DNs, and he was still there, had 5.5 sacks, and just it was a leader. So
I
definitely
think
think he's
he
a
play
good
a
steal.
Leo in the cover 3.
I
I do.
worry.
They don't get asked to cover much at all.
We'll see. But who do you got next?
Let's see.
You want to go with all your Jets picks?
I already used one.
I mean, you got 2 more.
I do have 2. All right, fine. I'll go with 2 more Jets then. Starting off, Brian Poole. He was absolutely the Jets' best corner last year, in my opinion. Strict nickel guy, but that's something that, is much needed nowadays. A smaller corner, always around the ball, can stick with receivers. I like him a lot. I got him at $4 million.
My thing with him is it's tough to say that this guy was in his 5th year in the league and he was the vet in their corner room.
Yeah.
Like that was what was scary. Is like I don't know how good he was because of just how bad the Jets were. I mean,
I will say saying he's the best corner on the Jets isn't saying much. So
I know, but still, I mean, that's the problem. Is like he could have been so much better, and he could definitely be a great value. And you put him on a team that has, I mean, he has all the tools. Don't get me wrong, definitely the best corner. But you had guys on that team that were just so. Bless Austin, like he was a corner that got drafted late. He looked like trash for the Jets. I mean, the Jets were in such bad straits. I mean, one of the guys that we talked about on an earlier podcast, Lamar Jackson, was one of their starting corners, and he was an undrafted free agent signee, and he was a starter at the end of the year.
I do think they're in a good spot though with that. I love Lamar Jackson. I love Bryce Hall.
Oh yeah, Bryce Hall's awesome, but they needed time, and that's what I think hurt Poole. Is like he could have done the best that he possibly could have done, and the Jets still would have got destroyed.
Yeah. No, I agree. The other Jet I have is Jordan Jenkins. He's one of my favorite free agents here. He had 15 sacks going into this season the past 2 years. 15 combined sacks the past 2 years. This year, not much. He is absolutely going to be a very cheap bargain because of the names of the pass rushers that are in this list. He's going to get passed up. Man, I have him for 7.5 right now. Dude, he's going to be a stud at some point. He's just going to get passed up because of the names that are on here. He is explosive off the edge. His hands are fantastic. Phenomenal hands. He's going to be fantastic. Love him.
I hope that he gets an opportunity to start and play consistently wherever he goes. He's fantastic. He's good. He's really good. He's great in blitzing scenarios. His coverage skills are, I mean, people don't talk about it, but again, we're talking about the Jets. Everybody's coverage skill looked like they were a matador and just telling the bull Olay. But he could definitely be a steal, and he's someone to look out for. When the first wave of big name free agents sign, he's a guy in the second wave that's going to be signed, and someone's going to go, man, he can step in day one and be a starter, which is going to be amazing. And he's one of those guys that I think, like you talked about earlier, can get one of those like 2 or 3 year deals where it's loaded on the back end, where it's like, okay, let's see what we got. And if not, he's a great situational guy.
You might even get him on a 1-year deal, man.
That's true.
He might be one of those guys,
That's true. So, you know what? Let me go with mine. So I'll go Marlon Mack. So running back, Colts, not going to get re-signed by the Colts. People forget that, I mean, the Colts are a phenomenal team. And if I wasn't a Bills fan, I'd probably be a Colts fan with just how well they're set up as a team, cap space, organization. I mean, they're just doing smart moves left and right. But, I mean, he was 1 year removed from a 1,000-yard rushing season. And I mean, he can catch the ball to the backfield. Didn't have to do it much, but 1 year removed. He started one game, got hurt one game with the Colts last year. So what does that mean? Running backs are a dime a dozen. People can get them on a cheap, but if you have a team that doesn't have an established running back, that has a young running back, and you need someone to come out there, there's nobody hungrier than, Marlon Mack, who got injured, who's ready to come back healthy, and you can get him on like a $2.5 million deal, 1 year deal, try it out, see how it goes. And it's just, you can't lose. When you watched him play the year before, he was a beast. Like, he was a beast, just north and south, fast runner, would run people over. And I see huge value in that, especially at a position where running back, where people say it's dying off a little bit, but good value for him.
Love it. Love it. Physical runner, man. He
Oh,
is so physical. He is so physical. You know, he was just a victim of a crowded room. Again, honestly, kind of similar to Kerrigan in a way. You know, not as old, obviously, but, you know, the Colts have a loaded running back room. And I agree with you. They have done such a phenomenal job. They really have. No, they're a fun team. Definitely a fun team. And yeah, Mac is, like I said, very physical. Somebody's going to get him cheap. And man, if you don't get your running back in the draft, he's somebody that you could even have carry the workload right now.
Yep.
You know, so no, it's definitely a good one. Let's see. All right. Okay. So with this one, I'm going to kind of homer out a little bit here for a second because this is the best comparison for me.
I'll just let you go.
So last year, the Raiders signed a player by the name of Nelson Aguilar, who was the laughingstock of the Philadelphia Eagles, as he should have been. They signed him to a league minimum 1-year deal. Essentially, got a great relationship with Carr, did his thing, and they wound up utilizing Henry Ruggs as a decoy. Great. Phenomenal. Stupid, but still. Aguilar got a ton of catches, a ton of yards, really developed with Carr. But a big reason for that is because of the decoy that was Henry Ruggs. Okay, that's a big part of it. Not saying Aguilar had a great, but that was a big part of it. There is a value to that. I don't think you should spend the number 12 pick on making somebody a decoy, but there is a value to that. And that player is John Ross. Okay? I get it. I understand. Man, you put him on the outside, the defense has to respect him if he's on the field. They have to do it. There is a value to the decoy position. John Gruden, if you're listening, again, do not do that with the 12th overall pick. But a 1-year, $2 million deal, that is absolutely worth it for a decoy to help you get some of your other players open, you know, whether it be your tight ends, you know, your slots, things along those lines. Absolutely a value to that. I'm going John Ross, 1 year, $2 million all day.
I like it from the standpoint of if he can do what Aguilar did.
Like, no. I'm not asking him to do what Aguilar did.
No, but the problem is you can't have a decoy that can't catch the ball. No one's going to follow him if he can't catch the ball. His hands were terrible.
So were Aguilar's.
That's what I mean. If he pulls in Aguilar and can learn to catch, like do like the little Giants, put the sticky on your glove and just stand there and like run like this and then catch it. If he does that, great. Phenomenal value. And I think that's undervalued. Like $2 million, like, yeah, absolutely worth it. I would do it all day. But someone, like if I'm a coach and I'm looking at him right now, I would say, you need to send me videos timestamped of you catching footballs. Because I don't believe he can do it. So you could run as fast as you want, but if DBs know he can't catch, like, all right, see you, go run. You're going to drop
it. Catch well enough to be a decoy.
I hope so. I mean, the values, like, he has the tools. He's fast as hell. You could use him in so many different gadget plays, but I just worry that like he can't catch. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this year I'll look back and I'll be like, man, I wish I had him because he could catch, but like he can't catch. But I like it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I mean,
there's a value there.
I agree. And I'll jump into my next guy. My next guy is a system guy. What I mean by system guy is he's been a phenomenal player for a particular system. So I'm going Lawrence Guy. Lawrence Guy for the New England Patriots, D tackle. I just think he was underutilized. I think he's a great I'll just say space invader, basically. Like he could eat up space. He knows where to go. He knows how to play. He's a smart guy. I definitely think with all the D tackles rumored to be getting cut in the next couple of weeks, he's going to fall to the wayside. He's going to be a guy that people aren't looking at for big name. He's not going to get you a bunch of sacks. That's just not his game. His game is he's going to be a great run stopper, and he's going to help you out in that regard. And I think you can get him on a $7 million deal, which is it's a steal. I mean, reliable, dependable, all-around good football player. So that's one that I would say keep an eye out for.
I like that. I mean, you know what I love about him? He's played, and honestly, you could say this for the majority of the Patriots defensive line. He has played every single position on that line in large amounts.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They are so into these universal gadgets, and it works. It really does. He, like you said, man, he can occupy linemen. He can get through too. You know what I mean? He can get through. And I agree with you. There's a lot of D tackles out there that are, again, going to get cut. A lot that are already available. A lot of these players, man, a lot of them are just going to go down the list and they're going to lose out. But these are also candidates for one-year deals that might be on the top of the list next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. How many more do you have?
I have one more and you have three. So let's knock out two of
all
them.
right, I'm gonna go with just one more.
Oh, you're just doing one more? That's it?
Yeah, I'll just do one more. Why not? All right, I'm gonna go with Xavier Woods.
Wow, you're going with my boy from way back then.
Yeah.
I called him in the draft too. I said he was going to be a stud in the draft.
This year, especially in the draft, I'm noticing the lack of deep ball safeties. Okay. He can be that guy. I know there's the big four and now big three safeties that are available with Simmons now getting the tag. Another one, there's a lot of them out there. Woods, man, he can play deep. You can put him at nickel. You can even play him in the box a little bit. I wouldn't because, physicality purposes. Man, I love him as a deep safety. Love him. Definitely great, some awesome ball skills too. So definitely all in for him.
Yeah, I mean, I loved him coming out of the draft. I know he's a little undersized and what people like at being 5'11", but the thing that I saw when he was coming out in the draft was this guy is just the best way to put it since I was a baseball guy is he's a center fielder. He's going to track down. He's smart. He's quick to the ball. Not saying he's super fast. If you get a wide receiver, he's not going to catch him. But he takes smart routes. And yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be a steal.
Yep.
I definitely see him. And of course, I haven't looked at their roster, but the Baltimore Ravens just jump off the page to me where if you put him in that type of scheme and that type of system, and dude's just going to be a stud. That's what you're looking for is where he has that free range of doing a little bit of everything, which he can.
Yep. Agreed.
So this means it leaves down to me, my absolute wild card. So my wild card, since we talked about tight ends when we were going over, prospects, I like Dan Arnold, tight end out of Arizona. So he's an absolute wild card. I mean, he's a one-year guy, not really a starter. And what I mean by one-year guy is 1 year production-wise. He's played for a couple of different teams, but Arizona last year started 5 games, played in 16. He had 438 yards, which is fantastic, but 4 touchdowns. I mean, this guy's 6'6". He's not going to block. He will not do it. It's not his game. But you need a mismatch. And this guy's a mismatch. He can go up and high point the ball. I don't think he's a number 1 tight end, but I think he can be somebody's number 2 tight end on their team. And I think you can get him at crazy good value. I think you can get him at $3 million. And he could definitely step in and be in those 2 tight end sets. Just because it's if you have your 1 tight end that could do it all and then you have him, it's just a mismatch. So that's my last guy.
I just think of the Wonder Years. Personally.
Why?
The TV show.
I know, but that's it? That's your analysis?
No, that's just what I think of when I hear him. I'm not a fan of his, but I also can't stand tight ends that refuse to block. So as a receiving threat, absolutely. I agree. Do think he looks a little bit too much like Ashton Kutcher for me, but aside from that, I don't really like my wide receivers looking like Ashton Kutcher, but or my tight end, sorry. I mean, yeah, as a receiving threat, I don't know. I don't like tight ends that don't block. I don't like it. And he there have been times where it almost looks like he doesn't even try to. When I talk about it, he's the king of it.
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie. He doesn't look like he wants to block at all. He just wants Chicks don't dig blocking. Chicks dig the touchdown, and then he goes in there, takes his helmet off, and he just goes like this with his hair. And for those of you that are just listening.
Hair game, he's on my all hair game. Absolutely.
I mean, he's on fleek. It's good.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
definitely good. So
I just don't. I don't know. Like, it's not my thing.
no, I get it. I get it. But this was definitely a fun exercise for us to go through. I know we're definitely gonna keep going through free agents and where we see, especially after the round of cuts come up. Like people are gonna start getting cut. Like I mentioned before. I mean, Buffalo forgets that right now you're allowed to cut people, and that we're over the cap. So like we have to. So that's going to start happening. Other teams are going to start cutting some people around the league. So we'll definitely dive into that more. But we're going to hop back into our draft too, since that's right around the corner. Christmas, the best time of year.
What a day.
What a day. But until then, make sure you guys follow us on our Instagram and on our Twitter. You can find us at @_War Room 33.
If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, comment, hit the little bell, get notified when we come on. But yeah, definitely comment. Give us some feedback, please.
But until then, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Later.